Hi, I'm here with Raymond from Predictive Oncology. Raymond, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for joining us. So Raymond, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Predictive Oncology?
Sure. My name is Raymond Vennare. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board of Directors. And our company is at the forefront of leveraging artificial intelligence to expedite drug discovery for biopharmaceutical companies.
Thank you. So your Chief Business Officer, Dr. Pamela Bush, mentioned the importance of partnering and partnerships with biopharma. This seems to be a deliberate strategy for Predictive Oncology. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, of course. So we refer to all of our customers or clients as partners. So there is that because it is in science, you have to collaborate very, very closely. But from a business perspective, from a corporate development perspective, as opposed to business development, strategic partnering is important because our partners already have pre-existing relationships with the kinds of biopharmaceutical companies that we want to do business with and whom we think we can help. So by working with them, we both gain access to existing customer base, but also that their customer base is brought to us through that relationship.
So in addition to expediting drug discovery and building pipelines, drug repurposing is also a key focus for your company. Can you tell me more about that effort and other strategic initiatives?
Sure. Again, this is when you think about drug development. 95% of all drugs fail, if not more, before ever getting to commercial use, clinical use. So when you have a 95% failure rate, that means that pharmaceutical companies probably spent 5, 10, 15 years and hundreds of millions of dollars getting to that failure. And so they have done all the research and they have these molecules and these compounds. So we're saying, let's look at that, reverse engineer it, or at least retrospectively look at why they failed and see if we can repurpose those molecules or those compounds or those drugs, either directly or indirectly, or potentially by combinations of drugs. And we can do that using our machine learning and artificial intelligence capabilities.
Thank you. So, as you just mentioned, AI is a hot topic with investors. What is your perspective on the impact of AI in drug discovery and how are you different?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my perspective on artificial intelligence is very straightforward. It's a tool. It's an important tool. It's a sophisticated tool. To say that artificial intelligence is doing drug discovery is a misnomer because the science drives everything in drug discovery and drug development. So we view artificial intelligence, and I certainly personally view it as a decision support tool.
Right.
We use it to make better decisions so that scientists can do better work at the bench, feed that information back into the AI platform, and then the AI platform tells us what we should be thinking about in terms of the next experiment, but those experiments are done in the laboratory. So what makes us different is that our artificial intelligence platform is not one thing, it's three things. It's the machine learning capabilities. It's the fact that we have a wet lab, meaning a laboratory, a CLIA laboratory where we can do clinical work. And we have the data that's been derived from a biobank of 150,000 tumor samples. So those three things actually allow us to use our artificial intelligence in a way that no other company can because they don't have basically the raw material. And when I say raw material, it's the tumor samples from patients. And we refer to those tumor samples internally as cancer patients because they come from human beings. And we never want to lose sight of the fact that we're working with tissues from someone who's probably no longer with us, who've donated those tissues so that someone else years from now will benefit from their loss.
So the tumours are the raw materials?
The tumours are the raw materials, correct.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, can you please comment on the potential impact that predictive oncology might have on multi-million-dollar pharmaceutical market? Where do you fit? How do you make a difference? And what do you contribute?
Well, we really mitigate the risk of failure. That's the way we look at it. So if you have the 95% failure rate and you can identify what those failures are going to be years in advance of actually doing the clinical trials, the mitigation of risk for the pharmaceutical companies is extremely important first of all, it saves them that time,
Mm-hmm.
which means it saves them a tremendous amount of money. But more importantly, if we identify molecules that will fail early, they can spend that same time and money, or reallocate that money
Mm-hmm.
to other molecules or compounds that may actually be successful through drug development.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. So it's the mitigation of risk. The second thing is when you expedite drug discovery and enable drug development, that means that a drug that is viable will get into the hands of a clinician sooner to treat a patient who needs it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So patients living with cancer or dying from cancer are desperate for therapeutic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And so to the extent that we can expedite that process, it's the patients who are going to benefit from that. And lastly, in terms of the pharmaceutical companies themselves, if you can extend the patent life of some of these compounds or these drugs by even 6 months, 12 months, a year, you're generating billions of dollars in revenue because
Mm-hmm.
you've been able to risk or eliminate the risk on the front end, expedite the discovery, and then get it into the market quickly.
Fantastic. So essentially, you're helping people save money and then make money.
Save money, save lives,
Mm-hmm.
and make money. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I would say the save lives comes first.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Raymond.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate it.